Artorias the Abyss Walker. I was like most Silver Knights, like most of our shining knights in armor. We were faithful to Lord Gwyn and only Lord Gwyn. That was how it was. Our faithful lord faced against the ancient dragons, something that not many people can say. But I guess that's kind of part of the point. He is our lord, and I will follow him into battle regardless of what's going on. But I don't know what else to say about him. He's our faithful lord, strong and mighty and just in all his actions, even when he imprisoned the pygmy lords in the Ring City. But I wish that I knew more about our lord. He was a great man, and I wish I had the chance to understand him a little bit better. During one day, a day that was very haunting, unlike any other, I heard my lord say something along the lines of that Faram, his son, had abandoned him and hid a dragon, his sworn enemy. My lord was in great distress. He was anger and fear, and everything that he fought for was being destroyed. My lord was in his throne room and just sitting. He wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. He stood up and then began to pace. Then he said to his faithful knight Ornstein, "Tell me again what's going on. Where is Faram? I need to hear it again, just to make sure I'm not losing my mind and going hollow." "He is allied himself with the dragons, my lord." He sighed, then said, "Of course he did. We never saw eye to eye, me and him, but this is blasphemy. I want him erased. Erase him from history. Erase him from the world. Make sure his name is not even known." "My lord, is that really wise? He was a faithful knight and a great warrior to you." "I will not stand for treason. I will not stand for this. He is not my son anymore. He lost outright when he sided with the dragons." "It will be done, my lord." Before another word could be said, a stranger marched into the hall. He was dressed in white robes and had wrappings around his legs. I could tell right away he was a missionary from Ulasil. That was their attire, after all. Before he could utter a word, Ornstein put his spear right next to his throat and demanded to know, "How dare you enter the king's presence without invitation? Are you a spy?" The missionary began to panic and said, "No, I'm not. I come bearing a grave message from Ulasil. They are in desperate need of help." Lord Gwyn waved his hand, and Ornstein lowered his spear. He said, "What is it that you desire?" "We have dug up something we shouldn't have. Primeval man. The darkness is spreading in Ulasil. People are being slaughtered by the hundreds. Please, Lord Gwyn, you must aid us." Lord Gwyn began to stand up again, his mind rushing with thought, I believe. I couldn't tell, but he was panicking, or at least it looked like that. He then said, "Get me Artorias." Ornstein nodded and then walked away. About 5 minutes later, Artorias the Abyss Walker walked in. He was dressed in blue, carried a great shield and a great sword, and had a little wolf companion by his side he named Sif. He loved that wolf more than anything, apart from our lord, of course. He kneeled down in front of Lord Gwyn and said, "Do you have presence of me, my lord?" "Yes. I need you to enter Ulasil and cleanse the darkness of the abyss." He nodded and then began to walk away. Ornstein then said in a glaring tone, Exactly how do you plan on fighting the abyss? I mean, if our great lord can't, surely you will fall as well. Artorias just stared at him and walked away. That was the last time I ever saw Artorias the Abyss Walker, a great valiant knight who fought against the dark and died fighting against it. I am but a humble peasant. I do not deserve the same stature as our great lord, Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight. But even he had a fear, the dark, and we had just unearthed it. Ulasil was under attack. People were running and shouting that the monsters were coming, and when I saw my family turn, it was a nightmare. They butchered people left and right, without fear, without rational or reason. It was terrifying. Before I left, I saw one man charging head first into the dark. Him and his wolf companion, they slaughtered many, butchered the rest. Any who had even the slightest murmur of dark was killed. I guess that make me a exception. I saw him run into Ulasil, swinging his blade. I could hear the battle, him yelling to his companion, "Sif, kill!" I followed him for a while. I wanted to see the great Artorias fight against the monsters. The fight was brutal, the war raging on. But Artorias didn't let up. He didn't give up without a fight. His shield blocked many foes, dark magic and evil, and his wolf cleansed many threats, biting into the neck of most of the monsters and gutting them. Artorias killed the rest and then descended into the dark, where he was Manus. Manus was once a missionary from the Ring City, as far as I'm aware. But then he died, and no one knows exactly what happened to him afterward. He became consumed by the very dark in his soul. He should have been better. He should have been stronger. That was the last time I ever saw Artorias. A few days later, I saw a stranger walk around. This stranger carried a great sword and was dressed in an elite knight's armor. He walked around and killed things. Then he died and got right back up. This must have been one of the cursed undead I've heard so much about. How dare this accursed undead come to try and cleanse this city, when he was probably the reason that it started. Him and his dark abyss masters. I heard Artorias' scream. It was horrifying. It echoed in the distance, and I felt defeated. For I knew that Artorias the Abyss Walker had failed, or had died fighting the Abyss. I left, not knowing what really happened that day. With the stranger, with the knight Artorias, and with his small companion. I never knew exactly what happened that day, and honestly, I think it was best if I didn't. I arrived at Anor Londo a little while later. The light shines down upon me, and I could feel it cleansing my soul of dark. A few days later, we received word that Artorias had died fighting the Abyss, but brought the Abyss with him to the afterlife. All of Anor Londo mourned his loss, and his great companion Sif. It was horrifying, knowing that even a champion of dark, a champion who faced it, was gone. Lord Gwyn would now need a new knight, someone who was more capable than facing the dark itself. I surely hope that he was okay in the afterlife. and him and his little companion could work together to face whatever foes came next.